No.
You're asking me?
It's a good question.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't really know.
Democracy.
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 A democracy.
Democracy.
I have no idea.
Democracy.
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 Democracy, yeah.
What form?
What form of government do we have in the United States?
What form of government do we have in the United States? We have a democracy.
Democracy.
Democracy?
Democracy?
Democracy.
Would I be surprised to find that we don't have a democracy?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I would be surprised.
I would be very surprised.
Ooh, when was the last time I said the pledge?
When's the last time I said the Pledge of Allegiance?
About 8 years ago.
Oh, probably a year ago.
Probably 21 years ago.
Do I remember the words? I think I did. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America.
and to the republic.
For which it stands.
And to the what?
Republic.
And to the what?
Republic.
Republic.
Republic?
Republic.
It's a republic. That's right, and we are a republic.
Republic.
Republic? Oh. The Republic?
The difference.
What is the difference between a democracy and a republic?
What is the difference between a republic and a democracy?
I can't remember its spelling.
Jeez, that's a good question.
Don't know the answer. Oh, good Lord. Whoa! You got me there.
I don't know the answer to that.
Hello, I'm Gordon Phillips. You know, the truth is a funny thing. You can distort it, you can even suppress it for a while. Sometimes you discover that it's hiding in plain view all along. But eventually, the truth always comes out. The problem with the truth is that once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. Winston Churchill once said, "Most people sometime in their lives stumble across truth. Most jump up, brush themselves off, and hurry on about their business as if nothing had happened. What you are about to learn will lead you into areas you may never have been before. If you're a person who has always believed everything your government tells you, then this tape will very likely forever change the way you view your government. If you would rather not learn the truth in order to not have to hold yourself accountable for knowing it, or have to deal with the consequences of putting it into action, or have to deal with your conscience should you decide to ignore the truth, then perhaps you should stop this tape right now, rewind it, and pass it along to someone else to listen to. So let's get started. I'll be covering 3 broad areas. The first is the symbiotic relationship between our banking system and the income tax, and is crucial to your understanding of the real reason why we even have an income tax. The second area will cover the surprisingly limited authority of the federal government to tax the citizen of the 50 states of the Union. And the third area will discuss the solution. I'll introduce you to a patriotic organization of thousands of members nationwide who have learned to free themselves from a lifetime of Pavlovian conditioning and bondage to the IRS through the fear that stems from ignorance of the written law. According to Internal Revenue Manual, Chapter 1100, Section 1111.1, titled Mission,
the purpose of the IRS is to encourage and achieve the highest possible degree of voluntary compliance in accordance with the tax laws and regulations.
IRS Publication 1, titled Your Rights as a Taxpayer, states,
As a taxpayer, you have the right to be treated fairly, professionally, promptly, and courteously by Internal Revenue Service employees. Our goal at the IRS is to protect your rights so that you will have the highest confidence in the integrity, efficiency, and fairness of our tax system.
Well, what do you think? Do you have the highest degree of public confidence in the integrity, efficiency, and fairness of the IRS? Are you treated fairly, professionally, promptly, and courteously by IRS employees? And what exactly does voluntary compliance really mean? Mortimer Kaplan, former IRS Commissioner, stated in the 1975 Internal Revenue Audit Manual,
"Our tax system is based on individual self-assessment and voluntary compliance."
Meaning, assess yourself and volunteer to comply, or we'll seize your property and you may go to jail. For years, the IRS has ruled the American people in a manner many feel is equal only to the Soviet KGB. Fear, bluff, and deception have been the IRS' major weapons. Once it has targeted its victims for audit, investigation, assessment, and seizure, the IRS will try to take three things away from them: their money, their time, and their reputation. Yet IRS Commissioner Margaret Milner Richardson, in her Dear Taxpayer preface to the 1994 Form 1040 Instruction Workbook, stated, and I quote,
"I want you to know that the S in IRS represents a commitment to serve you."
Now, isn't that heartwarming? It reminds me of the Twilight Zone episode in which apparently benevolent aliens land on Earth and donate a book to mankind titled To Serve Man. When translated, it turns out to be a cookbook. Ms. Richardson goes on to list under customer service standards,
"Our goal is to answer your questions accurately."
Well, that certainly came as news to me, considering that the IRS will readily admit that it takes no responsibility for the accuracy of the information given out over the phone by its personnel to members of the public who call to get their questions answered. Of the many people I know, including myself, who have ever written a simple question such as, "Dear IRS, could you please cite for me the code section requiring a citizen working within the 50 states to file an income tax return?" To this date, not a single one of us has ever received a single answer, let alone an accurate answer. The IRS simply ignores all such letters. So much for the S in service. So much for being treated fairly, professionally, promptly, and courteously. So much for protecting our rights. Quoting from IRS in Action, former IRS Criminal Investigation Agent Santo Presti reveals,
Given the opportunity, the IRS will take the easy way out and grab whatever it can. The IRS does not really care about you or what your future may be.
If the IRS does decide to investigate you, it will interview your friends, family, business associates, clients, and customers, and turn them into informants, paid informants. So did Shirley tell the truth? Apparently not. Former IRS Commissioner and former head of the Tax Crime Division at the Department of Justice, Shirley Peterson, stated in a lecture on April 14, 1993, at Southern Methodist University,
8 decades of amendments to the code have produced a virtually impenetrable maze. The rules are unintelligible to most citizens. The rules are equally mysterious to many government employees who are charged with administering and enforcing the law.
The IRS depends not only upon its highly publicized actions, but upon its perceived power in order to instill fear into honest Americans, and to quote the agency itself, to maintain a sense of presence. Again quoting from IRS in Action, Santo Presti writes,
Fear is the key element for the IRS in achieving its mission. Without fear, the IRS would have a difficult time maintaining our so-called system of voluntary compliance.
Yet Internal Revenue Service Manual Section 5221 returns compliance programs, cautions IRS agents,
Some techniques can be used only in connection with a full-scale program due to the nature of the tax situation and the need to avoid unnecessary taxpayer reaction. An example would be income tax returns compliance efforts aimed at the non-business taxpayer.
Now, what do you suppose they meant by that statement? Isn't the non-business taxpayer the individual citizen? Isn't that you?